Hello guys, welcome to 8-Bit Politics, and we're going live today. I haven't done a live stream in a while, so this ought to be interesting. It's also 2 in the morning, so, if I sound a little weird, it's because I'm fucking exhausted, but I decided, you know what, I haven't done a video in, over 2 weeks, and this is one of the only times I'm actually free, is of course, at 2 in the morning. So I decided, you know what, let's hit the record button, let's go live, let's talk about some shit. So what we're going to talk about today is why video game journalists are so dishonest. Something I've been talking about the last 2 videos I've made, and there's a reason why I keep saying it, because it's goddamn true. Video game journalism has absolutely no integrity at this point, and there are a few reasons as to why. And I'm going to go over that in this little stream that I got going on here. This ought to be interesting. So let's get started. So there are 2 big problems with video game journalism that I see right now. One being political bias. Left-wing political bias. We've seen it with Gamergate. Almost all the major outlets, all the major video game journalism outlets, like IGN, GameSpot, Kotaku, and all these other websites, almost all of them have given negative coverage towards the Gamergate movement, which is a pushback against the third wave feminism coming into the gaming industry. With the whole Anita Sarkeesian and all that other bullshit. They've pushed back against that, saying that, oh my god, we're harassing them, we're so horrible for rejecting feminism in video games, and oh my god, this is so terrible. Almost all these outlets have promoted this third wave feminist agenda, trying to push it into the gaming industry. And oh, this is misogynistic, and all this other bullshit. We've seen it with that. We've seen it with the whole PewDiePie situation. Oh my god, PewDiePie said the N-word, is so offensive. Just this left-wing SJW, easily triggered bullshit that we've been seeing in the past few years try to, sneak its way into the video game industry. So we've had all these outlets trying to promote this, fucking liberal agenda onto the gaming industry. And it obviously hasn't worked. But yeah, that's one problem, because they just keep pushing this agenda and pushing this agenda and pushing this agenda when it really has no relevance in the video game industry. The whole these social justice movements, these culture wars, and all these other things, they really have no relevance into the gaming industry. I'm really trying to figure out why these video game journalists and why these outlets are so hard-pressed into promoting their liberal SJW agenda onto the entire gaming industry. I'm really trying to figure out why, because, these SJWs and these liberal, how many of them actually play video games? I'm trying to think. Most of the people who I know are, easily triggered, easily offended people. They're not, a lot of them aren't really gamers, unless you consider Candy Crush to be a game. You know what I mean? They don't play Call of Duty or Battlefield or Fallout or any of that other shit. They're too busy sucking on their thumb, in their college campus, whenever someone says something that they don't like. Oh my god, I'm triggered. No, it's just fucking ridiculous, that whole SJW crap. I'm not even gonna get into that in this whole thing, but I'm not going to get into that whole SJW shit, because I've talked about it so many times on my main political channel, and I just said it so many times, I don't need to explain why SJW movements are cancer, why feminism is cancer, why these stupid fucking movements are just total cancer, right? I don't need to explain that. I've explained it countless times already. I'm not going to go into it again. Otherwise, this whole stream would be an hour long at least, probably longer. So we're not going to get into that. But what we are going to get into, so that was one problem that video game journalism is going through right now. Promoting a left-wing bias in their reports. They, with the Kekistan thing, that's another example. The Kekistan thing with, it's a white supremacist symbol. What? So they're obviously, they keep trying to promote this stupid fucking agenda, this SJW agenda. We know this already. I've been saying it. extensively over the past 5 minutes. That's one problem. Second problem, which is probably more problematic, is the whole thing with, okay, so IGN and GameSpot tend to give games that are, a lot of games that are viewed by the public as being pretty shitty games, they give them pretty generous scores. Like, for example, Infinite Warfare was given a 9 out of 10 by Game Informer. Infinite Warfare actually got pretty good reviews by the critics. That's right, Infinite Warfare, probably the worst Call of Duty game ever made. You look at, just go on Metacritic, look up any game, and you see the huge disconnect between the general consumer and these video game journalists. Just look at all the video games. Look at just any video game you can think of. Go on Metacritic right now. You look it up. You look at the critic scores and the user scores, and they're always different. Always. They're never the same. Someone in the comments says Infinite Warfare had a fun campaign. Yeah, okay. If you say so. I know this particular individual is tired of me bashing on Infinite Warfare. I am sorry, but that game was just so disappointing to me. The multiplayer was not fun at all. It was so fucking boring. I don't know how you find that shit interesting, but hey, to each their own. But the point I'm trying to make, whether or not you personally like Infinite Warfare is irrelevant, or whether or not I personally like Infinite Warfare is irrelevant to this, because you look at the user reviews for Infinite Warfare, and it's almost entirely negative. There's barely any positive reviews by users. You look at the critic reviews, it's like 7 out of 10 mixed up together. Like, you average out all the critic reviews, and it's like 7 out of 10. You average out all the user reviews, it's like 4 out of 10. So you see what I mean when I'm saying there's a huge disconnect between the average gamer and these game journalists. Huge disconnect. And there's a reason why this is happening. And I'm also going to explain why the whole political bias is being shown in the video game by these video game journalists. It's quite simple, actually. It's pretty easy to explain. So we'll start off with the whole review thing. These review companies make a shit ton of money by getting early review copies. Now, okay, I'm sure a lot of you already know this. You already know that they give good reviews, so they maintain a relationship with companies like EA and Activision. If they give shitty reviews for all these games, then Activision EA would be less likely to give them review copies, right? And to have exclusive news and updates that, they only get that because they have a pretty good business relationship with EA, Activision, Ubisoft, and all these other companies. If they were actually honest about how these games actually were, then Ubisoft and all these other companies wouldn't be willing to give them, to bend over backwards, giving them all this exclusive, exclusive news and exclusive content, like early reviews and early trailers and shit, because you've seen all the trailers that are first on IGN. It's because they have good deals with these companies. They have a very strong business relationship with them. These companies are very close with one another. And that's very problematic because there's no accountability. You don't know if these people are reviewing these games because they need to maintain a good relationship or because they're actually honest. And let me tell you something, they're not honest at all. These companies, these corporations like IGN and GameSpot, they're not honest at all about their reviews. Let's just face it. If you honestly think that the people at IGN and their reviews are full of honesty and integrity, yeah, no, they're not. They're not. I honestly don't know why people watch IGN and GameSpot reviews at this point. What's the point? It's pretty much a meme at this point of IGN arbitrarily giving 9 out of 10s and arbitrarily giving out 7 out of 10s. So why do people insist on watching these shitty fucking outlets? Why do people insist on watching IGN and GameSpot and all these other, big video game entertainment companies? We got a comment. Gaming outlets are pretty much independent marketing agencies. They need to sell ads to companies. Exactly. And you know what? That's actually been going on with YouTubers lately. It's not just exclusively, these corporations. It's also YouTubers that are taking advantage of this. You know, name the most popular YouTubers, the most popular Battlefield YouTubers, the most popular Call of Duty YouTubers. They all have a very strong relationship with EA and Activision. EA always flies these people out to E3 and all these other events that they have, and they get to upload the video game like a few days early before it comes out or before it's revealed to the public. And that gives them a lot of business. So, yeah, no, it is online journalism in general. I'm not just trying to single out the whole, just companies like IGN, just the major corporations. No, it's YouTubers as well. At least the famous ones. Now, I'm not trying to say, you can only trust the small guys, you can only trust the small YouTubers, but I don't know. I still think that the game journalists should be given the most attention because they're the ones making the most money out of this shit. They're the ones that are profiteering the most out of misleading the public more than these YouTubers are, because these YouTubers are individuals, right? They want to have their own, because YouTube is also a business. Being a YouTuber is also a business. So yes, everyone's at fault here, but the reason why I'm focusing on these video game journalists is because, again, they're major corporations. And they think they could get away with doing whatever the hell they want. So, they want to maintain, again, like what this person in the comments said, it was very accurate. They're pretty much advertising agencies. They're not actual media outlets. So, yeah, that's actually pretty accurate. So, we pretty much covered the reason why why they give favorable reviews to games that don't deserve these reviews. Like, again, Infinite Warfare getting a 9 out of 10. Like, come on. Do you honestly know anybody in real life that's played Infinite Warfare that's like, yeah, 9 out of 10? Does anybody honestly, like, be honest, anybody in this chat, know anybody in real life that still plays Infinite Warfare? Please, someone tell me. I would honestly, I would be very, very surprised if someone commented right now that they know somebody who still enjoys and plays Infinite Warfare. 9 out of 10. Here's your 9 out of 10 right here, fucking Game Informer. So, and okay, the reason why so again, on the other point with the political bias, the reason why they promoting this left-wing political bias, well, you need to understand what these companies are. So, for example, Kotaku. Kotaku is a subsidiary of Univision. Univision bought Gawker Media after Gawker shut down after the whole Hulk Hogan sex tape incident. If you don't know what the hell I'm talking about, you should probably look into that because it was a whole fucked up situation of Gawker. You guys remember Gawker, right? You guys know what I'm talking about, Gawker? It was pretty much a tabloid website. Like, you guys thought TMZ was bad? Gawker was fucking cancer. They pretty much profiteered off of ruining people's lives. Like Hulk Hogan, for example. He had a sex tape, secretly recorded, by the way, and they released it online. And they made a shit ton of money off of that, but then Hulk Hogan years later sued their asses, and like it was like $180 million. It's like $180 million he sued Gawker for, and made that company go bankrupt. So after that happened, Univision bought the company, and some websites include Kotaku, Jezebel, Gizmodo, and all these other websites. Now, are you guys familiar with Jezebel? Do you guys know what Jezebel.com is? I'm curious. I'm sure some of you guys are familiar with what Jezebel is. In case you don't know, Jezebel is just a very cancerous, third-wave feminist SJW shithole of a website that just... You look at the articles from Jezebel, it's like, why men should watch their wives bang a black dude and should have no problem with it. Why you're oppressing your wife if you don't let her sleep with other men. All this other fucking crazy fucking shit, right? That's just insane. It's just crazy feminist bullshit that just, oh my god, it just makes your... when you see these articles, it just makes you want, your head almost explodes seeing these fucking articles about, if you don't let your wife, fuck a black dude, you're oppressing her, and you're not letting her be free, and you're not letting her explore herself or whatever, and you're a terrible person. Or better yet, I think, was it Jezebel or was it one of those other feminist websites that posted an article about how pedophilia is okay? Oh, you should accept them for who they are. It's not a mental illness, it's just a sexual orientation. Yeah. Do we really need to open up that can of worms? I don't think we do. I don't think anything needs to be said about that. But it's the same company as Kotaku. So of course Kotaku is going to have this left-wing SJW feminist fucking bias. Of course they are. Just look at its sister companies, like Jezebel and all these other SJW cancerous fucking shitty websites. Of course Kotaku's going to be biased. So that's one thing. Kotaku, pretty popular website. Game Informer, subsidiary of GameStop. GameStop is a multi-million-dollar corporation. I almost stopped myself from saying multi-billion-dollar because they've been losing a shit ton of money. We got a comment. These sites survive because of these sort of articles. They give them the clicks, ad impressions that make them the money. Okay, so I'm going to give some advice to you guys. If you guys are fellow content creators and you want to cite these websites, like Jezebel and Kotaku and all these other fucking shitty websites, you archive them. I'm sure you guys know how to do that. How to archive a website. So you copy the link. You don't even click on the article. You just copy the link and then paste it into the Wayback Machine. And then if you want to cite that website, you just put the link to the archive, if that makes any sense. I mean, shit, I'm trying to explain some fucking shit at 2:40 in the morning. Of course, it's not going to go out too well. But, yeah, no, just look into that. If you really want to cite a website, but you don't want them to get advertising revenue. Like, you don't want them to profit off of you referencing them. So, yeah, you should definitely do that. So these websites stop profiting off of this shit. Adblock's a great thing because it stops these websites from profiting too much. And the websites that are like, oh yes, you need to turn off your ad blocker in order to access the website. Yeah, fuck you. I'm just gonna go somewhere else. You really think I give a shit? About, oh, you need to turn off your ad blocker to access our website. Yeah, okay. Let me get right on that. Fuck you. You think you're important enough? You really think you're important enough for me to turn off my ad blocker? No, you're not. You're not. I only click on your website to fucking laugh at you. I don't care if you starve to death. I don't care if you lose your money. You deserve to lose money because you're all pieces of shit. It's the truth. You're all scumbags. All you fucking shitty websites. You don't deserve to make any fucking money. At all. So, again, GameStop is a huge mega corporation. And what are these corporations? It's not just GameStop. It's all of these huge corporations that have been pandering to the SJWs out of late. Name one huge corporation, like mega corporation, that hasn't in some capacity pandered to these social justice fucks. Name one corporation. All those corporations that boycotted North Carolina because of the transgender bill. All these corporations that boycott Trump. You know what I'm saying? Like all these corporations think that it's gonna make them money by catering to these fucking thumb-sucking millennial fucking pieces of shit that have no concept of reality. They actually think that this is gonna make them money, even though on the contrary, they're losing a shit ton of money. They think that they're going to make money by catering to these social justice people. It just makes no sense, especially in the gaming industry. The gaming industry. Social justice and video games don't mix well together. We got another comment from Johnny Bepp. I don't want to defend them. Hold on a second. Comment just disappeared. Fuck. I don't want to defend them, but the people that work there are just people that have to write articles about controversial shit because that's what a lot of people want to read. Yeah, it's not me really attacking the video game journalists themselves. Notice the past 20 minutes I haven't actually named a single name, and that's because it's not really their fault. I mean, they're just paid to do whatever the fuck, you know. At the end of the day, it's really the fault of the higher-ups. They're the ones that decide what goes on. That's really with any corporation. You shouldn't really blame the workers. You should blame the higher-ups. I'm not trying to blame the people who write the articles or the people who... I mean, they are somewhat at fault because they're still contributing to the system. Let me correct that. Not want to read, but controversial articles get the most attention. Yeah. I see where you're coming from. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. But yeah, no. I could just go through a whole list of all these different news outlets, and I can guarantee you that they have some connection to these social justice movements. They're incredibly biased. They don't care about actually informing the gamer as to whether or not one thing is good and the other is bad. I wouldn't necessarily call them fake news, because the actual stories that they come out with aren't actually false. It's just that the way that they spin it is not necessarily, is not really, it's not genuine. It's to promote some fucking agenda, to push some fucking narrative. But actual news articles, I mean, it's not like the articles are fake, like CNN with the Russia bullshit. It's kind of different. I wouldn't really say that the gaming journalism situation is the same as the mainstream media situation, with CBS and NBC and Fox News and CNN with their misleading fucking articles, and a lot of their articles turning out to be complete bullshit. A lot of their reports turning out to be complete bullshit. But with this, it's more has to do with their spin on things. When it comes to the PewDiePie situation, it's not fake news that PewDiePie said the N-word. It's just the way that they reported it, saying, "Oh my God, PewDiePie should be punished. PewDiePie should apologize," and all this shit. So when it comes to their anything that they report on that has nothing to do with objectivity, that's really the problem here. I'm not saying that they're fake news. I'm not trying to be like, one of those people. Oh my God, everything is fake news. Fake news. No, it's just that they're very misleading. A lot of what they say, like with their game reviews, you can't trust their opinions is pretty much what I have to say. Because there's a motivation behind everything that they do. When it comes to the video game reviews, they want to, they want to make money by maintaining the good business relationship with these major video game publishers. If the new Call of Duty game got a 1 out of 10, do you really think that that next year around, when the new Call of Duty game is revealed and there's hype around it, that Activision is going to be like, yeah, no, IGN, you guys gave us a 1 out of 10, but made us look like shit, but we'll still give you early access to the shit. No, they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. And the same thing with these YouTubers too. They're not off the hook too. They're almost just as shitty as these video game journalism outlets. They're just as shitty, honestly. Like these people with millions of subscribers that fly out to these events. If they were actually honest about how shitty the games were, then they wouldn't have this great relationship with EA. Like all these YouTubers that are featured at E3 from EA, like with the Battlefield 1 reveal. Or whatever the hell it was. Yeah, no. I think you guys get what I'm saying at this point. I don't really think there's much else to say about this shit, just besides the fact that the mainstream, these video game journalists fucking websites are fucking bullshit. They're fucking bullshit. You shouldn't read any of them. If you want to get your news, I suggest, you just watch one of your favorite YouTubers. Because often they cite articles from IGN and all these other websites. So you're not directly supporting them. You're not supporting them at all, but you're still getting reliable information. There are plenty of reputable YouTubers that give out news. You don't need these websites is what I'm saying. Just like you don't need CNN for your news. You don't need IGN for your news. You don't need GameSpot. You don't need all these other websites for your news. You don't. So I suggest, like what people say with CNN, that you should cut the cord. Drop your cable networks because you don't need cable news. I think the same thing can be said about video game journalism, except instead of cutting the cord, just don't fucking watch them. Don't read their articles. Don't give them any business. Don't make them any money. That's the best advice I could give. That's really the only solution to this problem. Because it's a big fucking problem. And it needs to end soon, because it's just it's really troubling that these outlets are getting away with this shit. I mean, some people realize. I mean, a lot of people do realize the shit that they do, but they still, in a way, like, make them money. They still watch the trailer reveals on IGN, you know, on their YouTube channel. They still watch IGN videos. They still click on their news articles every now and then. So even though they're aware of what the shit that they do, they still haven't wised up enough to you know, to really do damage to these companies, because these companies don't deserve to exist. They really don't. They don't do any good for us. They're just part of the corporate machine. I don't mean to sound like a fucking hippie. Anybody who knows my political views knows that I'm far from a hippie. Not a hippie at all. I don't mean to say like, oh man, fuck the system, man, fuck the big corporations, man, peace for, you know, 420, all you know. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to inform you guys and about this bullshit, and tell you guys that it can be stopped. We just need to try harder. We need to do more to stop this bullshit. So, to everybody who's watched the whole time, thank you guys for listening to my 3 a.m. rant about video game journalists. The reason why I decided to do a live stream is because a lot of people didn't know that because I changed my name a few weeks ago, didn't know that it's me. They thought I was just some random fucking person. And like, why am I subscribed to this guy? But then they actually clicked on the video and recognized my voice. And like, oh, it's MrNoobTubeGamer. But yeah, I'm going to do a face video so everyone knows that it's me. So there's no more confusion. So that's why I decided to do a live stream. Hopefully my next live stream is more coherent and it's at an earlier time where I'm not fucking exhausted. And should probably be sleeping because I have class in like at 11 o'clock in the morning. So I should probably get to bed. Yeah, it's time for bed, guys. Thank you all for watching. See you guys later.